This video is going to go over 5 issues with Marvel Rivals right now. Some of these are issues that are currently existing in the game at the moment, and some of these are issues that could arise in the future. We want this game to have the best possible chance at being a great game for a long period of time, and I'm really enjoying it, and I don't want it to go anywhere because I think it is a fantastic game and IP idea, and it could be one of the best games of all time. And this is more of a Yap style video, so if you do want to have this on in the background whilst you do something else, then please do that. But the first issue that we do want to discuss, which is the most important one actually, and I think the biggest one that's going around right now, which is the ranked issue. Now, if you don't know anything about this, essentially what's happening here is the more games you play, the higher chance you get to basically rank up in this game, even if you're not actually good at the game. Just by you having a 50% win rate, you can essentially climb the ranks. Now, what this means is that basically the amount of points you need to climb ranks is a lot lower than what it should be. But I think this issue basically comes in where these low level players are coming into the kind of higher level ranks. Now, currently I play this game pretty much every day, more or less, and I went from Platinum 1 back down to Platinum 3, and that is just based off of the games I've been playing. You can go back and check my history if you want and watch my games, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here when I say the fact that every game is pretty much a coin toss on the teammates you're going to get. There's games where I literally play and we stomp the enemy team ridiculously bad. I'll end up like 20-0, no deaths, playing Magneto, and then you can get another game doing the exact same thing, and it's not like my skill has changed from one game to the next game. And you've got a different bunch of teammates now, and you basically get absolutely destroyed the other way around as well. So it's basically you win a game and then you lose a game, and then you win a game and then you lose a game, and that is the way my ranked has been going now ever since I hit Platinum. I do think I am a diamond level player. Most games I play, whether it's third person shooters, first person shooters, I have came over from Call of Duty. That's not to say I should be in Grandmaster or anything like that, but I do believe I'm about a Diamond 2 or Diamond 1 level player when it comes to playing this game. And I've got a good understanding of the game as I make content on it anyway, so it just makes sense, and I think that's quite evident even from my gameplays when you do watch them. Regardless of that, like I said, I think there's a lot of issues with the actual ranked system itself. Like I said, the amount of points you gain for winning and losing, it's just kind of something that needs to be changed here. Now, also chrono tokens I think should be removed from the game completely. And the reason for that is because if you lose 3 games in a row, you've just lost 3 games in a row. And that even goes if you've got bad teammates or not. I think even if I was to lose 3 games in a row, you D-rank, it just happens. It's just something that happens to you. You need to take it and move on. But the way I think it should help people is, for example, if you get SVP in a match and you are basically the best performing player in the losing team, essentially, you should either lose less points or you should lose no points at all, because at least you're putting in the effort to win this game, and it's very evident by either the heals you're doing, the damage you're doing, or just whatever it may be, supporting the team in general. And the SVP thing is already built into the game, so all they need to do is essentially mean that the SVP does not lose any points, and it at least gives the losing team something to play for, so that everyone in the team is trying their best to get SVP so they don't lose the ranked points. Again, allowing players to play better, do better within that game. So I think that is the way they should actually do this. So instead of having chrono tokens, in pretty much every single rank, if you get SVP, you don't lose any SR points, and that means everyone's going to try to perform their best. I think an even bigger issue than this, to be honest though, is players leaving matches. I don't know what it is, but I've seen this so often recently that people in my team, if we're losing a game, will just leave the game. And at the start of a match, it does disconnect the match, so I will give them that. If the player leaves at the start of the game or quite close to the start of the game, then obviously just disconnects the match and penalizes the player that's left. But when it comes to like literally halfway through a game, and if you are losing the first round, for example, and that player then leaves, it's just ridiculous, because they're obviously not going to come back on to reconnect to the match because they were losing, they were playing badly, and then they don't want to join so that they can rage quit essentially. But they need to have a way that either a player gets added into this, or you don't get penalized as much, or you don't get penalized at all, because playing with a player down in this game, which is a team-based shooter by the way, is pretty much, you're going to lose that game essentially, especially if that teammate has left you in a bad position already. So if they're playing badly, they've died a few times, put you in a bad position, then they've left the game, at this point you're pretty much set up to lose that game for the entirety of the match, and then you've got 5 players trying to do a 5v6 on a game where you cannot do such a thing in the first place. So there needs to be either a heavier penalty for people leaving, or there needs to be a way for the people that are still playing the game to not lose as much rank points, or not lose any rank points, or disconnect the match just as per usual. The other thing I want to talk about is the moving maps. I think the moving maps really need to go. The destructible portion of the maps is perfectly fine. I think that's okay to get better sight lines, better angles on enemy teams, and we've seen this in plenty of other games and I think it works okay. It's not Rainbow Six Siege, but it's kind of similar. But like I said, the moving portions of the map need to go. That is because when you're midway through a fight, and especially in ranked, at least they should remove it there. You're trying to fight someone, you're not hitting your shots. Not only are you not hitting your shots, you end up in a random place you never even expected to be because the map just started moving around and doing crazy stuff. And there's not even any indicators or timer or anything to let you know that the map's going to start changing. So either they need to add a timer in so you can see when this is actually going to happen, or they should just remove it entirely from ranked, in my opinion, because I think the game would still play perfectly fine without this. Not to mention that it would help a lot of performance issues in this game as well. So already there's a lot of performance issues on PC, but if you're on console, I think usually it's quite good for the most part. But like I said, if it helps performance and it's not really helping the gameplay aspect, then they might as well remove it, because it's really not necessary, and it'll also help the development aspect of them getting maps out quicker to us as well, which I think would be a lot better. So the third issue that is currently in the game at the moment is people talking about the idea of adding role queue within Marvel Rivals. Now, essentially what role queue is, if you haven't played other hero shooters, which I have not up until this point, which is basically the fact that it locks you for selecting 2 Vanguards, 2 Strategists, and 2 DPS or 2 Duelists within a game. Now, they're mainly talking about ranked, I'm assuming, when people are saying they want this in the game, because in quick play, I don't really think that's too important. But like I said, especially within ranked. Now, the reason why they're saying that is because pretty much every team composition right now needs at least 2 strategists in the game to perform well. And that is a definite must. You do need to have at least 2 strategists in the game. And not to say you can't do well without one, but like I said, I do think you need them, especially with the way the meta is set up and the way the game is set up in general. But like I said, they're saying that they want that role queue to be locked. And I don't think the developers have developed this game with that in mind, and I don't think that should be added to this game either, if I'm being perfectly honest. I don't think role queue is really needed in this game. I think the big issue with this actually comes in where most of the heroes are sitting within the duelist category. I think that's the bigger issue here, and I think that would be easily resolved if the heroes are spread out a bit more across the different categories, essentially. Now, the reason why I say that is because the strategist category in particular, which is probably the most important one for staying alive anyway, is the one where there's not any cool heroes and there's not a lot of heroes to select from. Now, I think in terms of the duelists, there's far too many of them right now anyway. Obviously, until they add more heroes in the future, I think obviously that might even out. Vanguards are actually in an okay spot, and the reason why they're in an okay spot is because every Vanguard in this game is a very popular Marvel hero. People are missing out that fact that people do want to play the Hulk, people do want to play Venom, people do want to play Magneto, people want to play these heroes that are in that category. Now, even though there's the same amount of Vanguards as there is strategists, there's not any cool strategists in this game whatsoever. Adam Warlock, he's really not that cool, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Probably one of the more popular ones, but like I said, in terms of his kit though, people might not like it. Cloak and Dagger, I'd never heard of until I actually played this game. Invisible Woman, obviously from the Fantastic Four, so probably one of the more popular ones. Jeff the Landshark, I'd never heard of until I played this game. Loki, obviously Thor's brother from the movies and things. People might want to play Loki and they quite like the character. Luna Snow, again, I had never heard of. Mantis, not that popular in terms of Guardians of the Galaxy. And Rocket is reasonably popular, but again, not one of the more popular Guardians within the Guardians of the Galaxy. So, like I said, there's not a lot of popular heroes in this category in general. So if they added heroes like Ultron, which is a popular hero, or if they added some new ones in that we could use, then people will be selecting more strategists because they want to play the hero they want to play. And I made a whole video on strategists that they could add into this game and some really good examples of that. So if you do want to check out that video, I'll leave it linked at the end of this one. The other two topics are based around the longevity of this game, and I want this game to be around for a very long time. So other than new maps, new modes, and new heroes, which we already know they're going to add in, I do think they need to focus on adding some new competitive modes into this game. The fun ones like Clone Rumble last a short amount of time, people play it for a couple of games, and then they kind of get over it. They need to add in a few more competitive modes, but that is not what this section was about actually, so I need to get back on track here. The main thing I want to talk about here is people talking about doing collabs in this game with other kind of franchises and things like that. Now, obviously Disney own a lot of things that they could bring other characters in, and also they could collab with other people outside of that as well. Obviously Disney's a big company, but I don't think there should be any collabs in this game whatsoever. Going into the future, 100 years from now, if this game's still going by then, there should not be any collabs within Marvel Rivals. There's plenty of Marvel heroes that can be added to this game, and they've already got a whole bunch of heroes they can choose from. We've made tons of videos going over which characters we'd like to see added in from the Marvel universe and just generally the Marvel comic books. They've got tons and tons of characters they could pick from, so I don't think they should add anything else external into this game whatsoever. It would actually ruin the game more than helping the game, to be honest. So no collabs. I don't want to see any collabs in this game whatsoever. We've got fun characters like Jeff, we've got the serious characters, we've got everything we need inside the Marvel universe already, so we don't need to extend that any further. The last and final point, and this is regarding the longevity of this game as well. Now, I really enjoy this game and I want it to be around for a very long time. I think the IP and everything about it is great. The development team also listened to the player base as well, which is very different to what I'm used to playing Call of Duty. So obviously this is something that I enjoy, and I like to see that the developers want to hear from the player base and then adjust the game accordingly. Now, having said that, I think a PvE mode would definitely help this game. It's not something they need to add in straight away. Obviously, they have developed this game to be a hero shooter, and that is what they wanted it to be, and obviously it's a very successful game. Now, this needs to be added in maybe like a year from now, or even a year and a half from now, but I think for this game to last an extremely long period of time, a PvE mode would do great and work wonders for this game. Now, there's obviously the hardcore player base which will play this game and play ranked and keep trying to get better and better and better. There's a casual player base that will play quick play, and then there's also a player base as well that might get bored of playing either of those two modes, because let's be honest, quick play is getting a bit more competitive as well, just because of all the ranked players coming away from playing ranked right now to play quick play instead, because they're deranking and all the ranked issues we mentioned at the start of this video anyway. If there was a PvE mode where you jump in with 5 of your friends, you get to pick any hero you like, it doesn't really matter which one, and they all still have the same kit and all that kind of stuff, which means that players are still improving on that particular hero as they select them for the AI mode. And they could jump in, fight some AI, fight some bosses, that kind of thing, even on the current maps that we have at the moment, because they're big enough, to be honest. I think that'd be a pretty cool thing to add into this game. The amount of skins they would sell would be absolutely insane, because people will then just start buying skins for any hero, not necessarily the hero that they're good with. Right now, people are buying heroes skins based off of which hero they play well with. And if people play multiple heroes, then they're going to buy multiple skins, and that's just how this game works. But if people only play one hero, they're only going to buy one of their best skins or whatever it may be. Now, if there was, like I said, a casual AI game mode where people can just jump in and play with their friends, the amount of skins they would sell would be through the roof, to be honest, and I think that would be a really good way to make this game a lot more fun for especially the casual player base, as the hardcore player base will still stick around regardless. So that is something I think will help this game out a ton, and even when people get bored of playing ranked or whatever it may be, they can play something else instead, and I think that would be amazing for this game, especially just because of the roster that they have. I think if Marvel focused more on this game in particular than other titles, this game has the potential to be bigger than anything we've ever seen before when it comes to games at the moment, especially since it's free to play and easy for people to access. And also it has crossplay as well, like I said, you can play with your friends. So like I said, that is all of the 5 issues with Marvel Rivals at the moment. Let me know what you think about all this down in the comments below and what your opinions are on each of these 5 points. and thank you very much for watching.